used to be that, 15 years ago, people would go to a big box store, they'd pick up a computer, they'd pick up a printer, they could go over to a desk in that store, sign up for, some sort of tech squad that would come in and take care of all of that. Hand filling sort of that need because some of those services have gone away. And, we talk also at GearBrain a lot about how um, having the expertise of how to put these things together is not always available in these stores. Is that something Handy's looking at in sort of pairing up and working with some of the bigger, retail establishments or online establishments to sort of link up so that you're right there when someone's buying something?
Yeah, I think there's that moment when you're buying something that really is quite powerful. And it's one of those moments of uncertainty where you're trying to figure out if you can do this, install this product yourself, if you can, essentially work it into your life yourself, or whether you're going to need help. And Handy today has definitely started to partner up with major retailers so that right there at point of sale, when you're buying these products, you can actually buy service alongside that product. And whether it's, buying a TV at Walmart or whether it's buying product on eBay, you can see Handy pop up more and more in store and online where those purchase decisions are being made and allowing the customer to really make an informed decision where they don't have to decide, hey, I'm going to do this myself if they don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
They can just buy the service alongside it. And it's not just a digitally delivered or phone delivered service. It's actually someone that's going to come to your home, install the product in your home. And I think that's a pretty powerful value prop. I mean, it's a lot more powerful to have somebody come to your home and help you than just do it online. Of course, we do see value in the online service. We see value in phone support. It's not something we offer today. All the service we offer today at Handy is delivered. Oh,
Sorry about that.
that's all right. Oh, there's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, a
Um,
lot of tech in here.
that's okay. I mean, I'm at an airport. Who knows? There'll probably be an announcement to tell me a flight's boarding in a second. Um, so yeah, I think there really is more and more service being delivered in the home. But I think there is an opportunity for us at some point in the future to think about how to offer some of that service by phone or some of that expertise and follow up as phone support in addition to in home.
I think it's really an interesting, what you just were talking about, that idea of having online support, and that's an important factor. But, one of the things Andy's really doing also is you can actually have a person come in. So, a lot of what we talk, I mean, technology can be, the digital kind of when we just talk with people and interact with them, and a lot of how-to guides, a lot of installation guides can be done. You download them off of the computer. You're picking them up on a smartphone. I think there is something kind of nice about having that opportunity, especially for certain consumers who are kind of new to this space, having an opportunity to actually work with a person and actually kind of talk back and forth and have that interaction live or in person. I think that sort of adds an element, kind of a hand-holding element for digital.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think there are fewer and fewer smart products that are standalone, right? So most of the things we're buying at this point have some sort of connection to things that are already in your home because you've already got whether it's the Google Home or whether it's an Alexa or Apple's device, you've already got some base in your home that's starting to basically become the hub or the central connection point. And that means that the context for the device is really important, right? You're not just buying something that's standalone that you can control remotely. It actually matters how you're connecting it to the other things in your home. And the more the context matters, the more relevant it is for a person to actually show up and understand the context for how you're trying to use this new device you're buying. And I think that just means that the in-person experience, watching you interact with the device, looking at how the other things in your home interact with each other makes it more and more relevant. And I think that's just, obviously the human interaction is hard to replicate digitally, but I think that context is also just a very practical component that makes in person just so valuable.
Yeah, I think you really sort of said something interesting there too about the idea that the way we set up our smart homes, we may be buying the same products. It's the same thing. We might be buying a computer. I may have a MacBook, but the way I set that up is going to be very personal to me. And having just an installation guide isn't necessarily going to help me set something up or set up an interface the way I want it to be. So having that human connection, having somebody who can walk you through that you can explain it to, I think is sort of maybe not. It's sort of right now, maybe the missing piece. It feels like, and how to
Yeah.
smart home.
And then you get personal and you just say, you know what? People are just nicer to the people that they're in front of.
Yeah.
It's just generally a better experience. I mean, it's just far easier to, become impatient by phone or by video. It's just a little harder to do that in person. And generally, people just respect the human interaction, and it's just a better experience for everyone involved if the problem can be resolved faster.
Right. You don't have to sit on the phone and start raising your voice, yelling operator.
Yeah, I mean, I was on a call with a bank earlier on today, and I was doing that thing where you just start screaming at the person. You're just screaming, agent, agent,
Yeah.
hoping that like you'll get past the robot that really, doesn't quite understand you.
And keeps responding in that same calm voice back to you. I'm sorry, I do.
Yeah,
You're just,
the calm voice doesn't make you calmer.
no, it does not. Someone really needs to let someone know that because it does not work.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day where they were saying that we are not far from having a conversation with a robot where humans won't be able to distinguish whether or not the person on the other side of the phone is a robot.
Well, that's what Google's doing, right? That's the whole
Yep.
new. I mean, that was the whole situation with the restaurant service. I think that they launched where they were able to.
Yep.
People didn't know that they were talking to the AI when they were making restaurants.
Hmm.
And I think now that
Yeah.
they actually are saying this is. They have to say they've got the AI saying, this is Google.
I am AI.
Yeah, I am AI. That'd be. All right, so I'm guessing you've used your own service at some point.
Of course.
What's the favorite way you've used Handy?
Look, I think Handy's a great experience when, I mean, there's multiple ways in which it works pretty well. For me, what works particularly well is when you buy a product on a retailer's site and you attach assembly or installation to it. That's for me one of the more magical ways that it works. I used it recently to buy furniture. The furniture, right there on the site. When I bought the furniture, I added assembly to it. It automatically integrated. Handy knew when the furniture was going to be delivered. We integrate with FedEx and UPS. The package actually ended up being delayed, and Handy automatically rescheduled it. The person showed up. They assembled the product, and it's a great experience. I mean, it's one of those things that nobody wants to think about installation and assembly. So the more invisible it is, it's almost the better it is.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird services where, if what you want to do is watch Game of Thrones on a 50-inch TV, you don't really want to think about unboxing the TV and whether the TV mount fits on your wall and whether, your Netflix sub is already connected to it and whether your joists are 20 or 14 or 16 or 18 inches apart and whether the mount will fall off the wall. You don't really want to think about any of that. Really, you just want to think about whether you're going to have, enough popcorn to watch Game of Thrones.
Right.
And I think the fact that Handy can step in there and take away so many of those different parts is pretty valuable.
Do you have a favorite? I'm guessing you're probably using some smart devices in your space or in your home or at work. Is there something that you particularly love or stands out that you find the most useful?
The one that I use the most are the lights. I use the Philips Hue lights connected to an Alexa, and they just work. They work incredibly well.
Good.
Before that, I never had dimmers on the lights, and now you automatically get a dimmer built in. You can tell Alexa turn them to 50%, and they're 50%. It was never a feature that I thought I wanted. I probably had the lights for 3 years at this point, 4 years. And before that, I never had dimmable lights, and probably for the first 2 years, I never even used the dimmer feature, and now I really enjoy it. So I think that's one that particularly jumps out. I have a bunch of Nest cameras. I have a very small baby girl at home. She's now 11 weeks old. So when I'm away, I'll like spy on I'll spy on her and like watch what's going on, and mainly for no reason other than to like feel good. So I think that's one of those good ones. I've got a baby monitor, a Nanit that sits over her crib, which is particularly cool because it both watches what she does, streams the video out, but also again, I'm not sure how accurate it is. It consumes all of her movement, turns it into stats, so you can see how many hours she slept last night, whether it was a good night's sleep or not. So it's kind of like an interesting reflection on. It's an interesting reflection on video processing and how it can be used to essentially make parents feel good or bad.
Yeah, I didn't have one of those, but it sounds like something I would have abused. Okay. Do you have any thoughts on, as we move forward in the next like 3, 5, I mean, obviously smart devices, they're here to stay. Smart home products are coming into our home more. Do you imagine at some point we're going to have a system where it's going to be one sort of app that's going to control it all? You just talked about how few connect to and work with your Alexa. Do you think there's going to be a time where we're going to have, just one overall network, one system? Or do you think that we're not, it'll be more splintered the way it is now?
I think it's incredibly unlikely in the next decade.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I think we're still at a place where we're adding so many things in such a fragmented way that it makes it very hard for me to see a path to one single thing controlling and influencing everything in a way that we effectively have today, right? So the phone, so the iOS device, the iPhone that I'm on right now,
Right.
is effectively that single thing that I can use to control everything. When I'm home, I use the Alexa because it's easier to say, hey, Amazon, turn on the lights, than it is to take out my phone and tap Hue and turn up the lights. But when I'm away, obviously, the easiest thing for me to do is to pick up the phone and, look at the Nano Cam. I think there are niche categories of product where there's just so much expertise required in that category
Yeah.
that it's hard to see why those category specific products are going to disappear. Like Nest makes a great product for, from watching a room, whereas Nanit makes a great product for watching a bassinet or a crib. Like there's like a nuance between even those cameras that you're saying, okay, well, do I need another layer between those cameras and my phone, or is the phone itself a sufficient layer for me to interact with those devices? And I'd argue the phone itself is a sufficient layer. I think there's an argument that when you're in the home, there will be a better way to interact with the devices that you're interacting with. And perhaps that's not the phone. I don't know whether that's gesture or whether it's voice or whether it's just automatic. Like, is there a world where it's entirely automatic that when you enter your home, your home is sensing or predicting what you would like it to do rather than you saying wave and turn on the lights or whatever it may be. So I think it's more likely that we move to a more automated world of in-home activity, but I think the phone itself is probably a pretty unifying device and a pretty unifying layer for interacting with the devices in your home when you're away from your home, if that makes sense.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for sitting off in the airport and taking the time. We appreciate it. We did not hear. We didn't hear any of this. Your flight's about to board. That's sort of worth it.
Yeah.
Unusual.
Thank you so much. I found a quiet area in an airport. Amazing, huh?
That's sort of the win. You got to stay there. Well, thanks again. Hopefully we'll tap you again. Ask you some more questions.
Cool. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
Yep. Thank you. And thanks, everybody. And we'll see you guys next week for our next Facebook Live when we are going to be talking with another smart home company. We're going to be talking with Singlid about their smart lights, a company that also makes other devices, including security cameras and motion sensors that are sort of built into those lights. We're really excited to talk with them then. So thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Thanks for joining us.